Our top story this hour: after UK, Bahrain has now become the second country in the world to have granted authorization of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine for emergency use. The state-run media outlet made the announcement on Friday, and Bahrain's National Health Regulatory Authority in a statement said that they have approved the COVID-19 vaccine that will be used for high-risk groups. However, Bahrain has not divulged any details of how many vaccines it has purchased or when vaccinations would begin. Bahrain is a Middle East nation that regularly witnesses temperatures soaring above 40 degrees Celsius. Looking at this, the main challenge would currently be storing and distribution of the vaccines under extremely cold temperatures. And the Pfizer vaccines need to be shipped and stored at ultra-cold temperatures of approximately minus 70 degrees Celsius. The Gulf nation had earlier approved Sinopharm's COVID-19 vaccine in November for frontline workers, and authorities have already inoculated some 6,000 people with this Chinese vaccine. We are now being joined by Dr. Julian Tang, Honorary Associate Professor and Clinical Virologist, University of Leicester, UK. Thank you so much for joining us. Are there any details yet on when the vaccines would begin and the amount that has been purchased?
Yeah, so hopefully next week we'll be seeing the rollout of the vaccine, the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine, to some of our hospitals that have the capability of storing the vaccine at minus 70 degrees C. Because at the moment, the packages come in 975 vaccine boxes, and at the moment we don't have the authorization to split those boxes into smaller packages that can be distributed to care homes, for example. So at the moment, it's really a hospital-focused distribution.
All right, and I was actually going to come to that. Another important factor is, of course, the storage of these vaccines, as you mentioned. Now, the Pfizer vaccines need to be shipped and stored at ultra-cold temperatures of approximately minus 70 degrees Celsius. What measures are in place for that?
Yeah, so the idea of storing these large boxes of vaccines in hospitals is that they have these minus 70 freezers, at least some of them do. And then the idea is to then take out batches of vaccine to then administer to hospital patients and staff in those hospitals so that the package can be used all in one go. You have to use the whole package within 5 days. So you have to vaccinate almost 1,000 people within 5 days before the vaccine actually goes off.
All right, and as we mentioned earlier, the Sinopharm's COVID-19 vaccine had been approved in November for frontline workers. What can you tell us about that?
Well, actually, I've not seen any data on the Sinopharm vaccine per se, but it sounds like it's a whole inactivated virus vaccine, and that can be stored at 4 degrees. But I've not seen any efficacy or safety data for that, but it sounds like the storage and distribution will be easier.
All right, Dr. Tang, thank you so much for joining us with all those details.
Thank you.
Co-presented by Skoda. Simply clever.